Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Mitch from BD Audio, where we like to dyno amps down under. Today on the channel, I have one of my favorite amps that's in my collection. This is a Kenwood eXelon kac-x811d. This is one of their premium range models back in the day, about 2004, I believe. This here allowed you to connect multiple amps with a control station, which I believe was called an AMS, or Amplifier Management System. So on this amplifier, there are a couple of settings which I'll run through shortly. But as you can see here, there is also a display panel. And on that display panel, it has fan, voltage, current, and temperature. So it'll actually tell you not only your voltage of your system, it'll tell you what speed the fan is on. It'll actually even tell you what the temperature of the amplifier is, but it'll tell you what your current amp draw is, which is really odd. I have never seen that on an amp before. But when this amp was released, obviously it was CEA rated, and it was 533 watts at 4 ohms, 919 RMS at 2 ohms. Now, most places where you look, it doesn't actually give you a 1 ohm rating. However, if you look in the book, it does say that it is 1016. But then again, it also tells you that it's 1600 watts. So under this beauty panel, you actually have your tuning. So you have your input sensitivity, which is your gain, your low pass frequency, a BRF frequency, an amp continuous, phase, BRF switch, which is basically bass boost, ISF, and ISF frequency, which is, I believe, subsonic. And it does even give you a graph of how you set it up to what it's going to be like slope-wise. Now all the terminals and everything are on the front of the amplifier. Firstly, you have 3 25 amp fuses, which again, dumb math says 750 watts. So I don't know if it'll actually hit that 919 at 2 ohm without these fuses popping. You then have your positive and your ground screw down terminals. You have your remote, and you have 2 channels for your sub. Now it is a mono, so they are just bridged. The other cool thing is, what I was mentioning earlier, is the eXelon was one of their top of the range models, to the point where this screw is your RCA ground. So when you have the RCAs that have a little wire that come off the back that you're meant to screw into the back of the head unit, that's actually where you screw it to, which allows a common ground for your RCAs. Below it is your ID switcher, and that allows you to change the different various controls from that AMS, which you would have up the front near your head unit. This allows you to switch on what amplifier you're running, being that they can be linked together. So you could say this is amplifier 1 of 4, or 2 of 4, etc. You then have your 9-pin adapter, which goes directly to the back of that AMS or to your head unit, which allows you to control each amp individually. You then have a 7-pin in and out remote, which allows you to essentially strap the amps, I suppose, or daisy chain them. And you do need to use these when applicating for the AMS. And then you have your standard RCAs, no panel mounts. But I guess there's nothing left to do. Let's strap this little gem up to the dyno and see what kind of power it makes.
This is gonna be interesting.
Alrighty, so we've got it wired up on the bench. First test, we're at 4 ohms. It's rated 533 watts. Up to clip, here we go. 595. That's a very good start. And I think it might have a little bit more. Let's reset it and full send it. Wow, 812. That is almost its 900 RMS rating at 2 ohm. Very good.
You're goddamn right.
Okay, we're now wired at 2 ohms. We're rated 919 watts. Here we go. Up to clip. $817. Okay, we didn't quite make it. Let's clear the screen and send it. Wow, 1023. That actually beats its 1 ohm rating Mind you, the amp is loading pretty hard.
Feel the power.
Oh, I can feel it.
All right, final test. We're wired at 1 ohms. We're rated 1016 watts. Here we go, up to clip. Okay. It's pretty limiting there, 886. I'm not sure if you hear the fan turning on. The fan is cranking. I'm going to put the microphone next to the amp because I think something may go wrong on this full send, purely because of how much noise it's making. So here we go, mic's against the amp. Cleared screen, and we're going to send it.
Show 'em the tape.
Wet. Not sure if you heard that, but the fuses went pop. There we go. All 3 fuses blew, which is weird because sometimes only one will blow, but yeah. So 1036. So it didn't do anything more than that 2 ohm rating, but yeah, we got 3 dead fuses. Let's put some new fuses in and hope it turns back on.
A few moments later.
All right, we've loaded up some new fuses. Let's turn it on. Make sure it works. Yes, we have power again. Alrighty, so we're going to show you a couple of these little settings. So the first one's obviously voltage. You click over to the next one, which is the current draw. So currently it's drawing 2.1 amps idling. You then have your temperature, 33 degrees. And you have your fan, which currently it's off. So voltage again. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the current draw. So I'm going to do a 2 ohm test here, and I'm just going to full send it, and we're going to see what it looks like. I'm going to do a split screen. Here we go. Let's see what kind of current it pulls. we maxed it out, 99.9. Oh, that fan's coming on. Let's see if we can cycle to the fan. Temp. Whoop, we went up some degrees. Fan is on slow apparently. But you can also cycle through. So there's obviously bass frequencies. I'm not entirely sure what that one is. Existing, not sure. Volume, so you can actually cycle to turn the volume down on it, essentially. You can change it from farad to Celsius. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that this has this. And then it shows you that current draw. Still don't know how it doesn't blow the fuses doing that 1000 RMS burp, but whatever. So as you just saw, there are a few different modes in this specific amplifier with this digital screen. So we're going to run through a couple of them. I'm not going to bother turning it on and showing you because we've seen the basics of them. But there is also a bass frequency. Now a couple of these settings are if you were to run if you weren't running the AMS, you were able to internally tune the amplifier more than just the simple switches and pots on the top. So you can actually set your bass frequency at 60, 80, 100 or 200 hertz. You also have a bass level, which again is an additional gain, so either minus 15 up to plus 15. You have a bass Q factor of Q1, 1.25, 1.5, and 2. You have your EXT, which is essentially when the bass extends is set on, low frequency response is extended by 20%. You also have a volume offset. So for example, if one amp might be a little bit louder than the other, you can actually offset it. Just like your head unit, you can offset your Bluetooth volume and etc. You then have a default, which obviously switches everything back to default. And then you have a digital ID as well. So it'll be labeled AMP from 0 to 7, and that'll identify which amp in your run of these is what it's running. So here we go, guys. We're going to bust the back off and have a look. Yeah, well, that kind of spoils it, doesn't it? Can't see much there. I guess we have to tear it down again.
6.5 hours later.
All right, so there's no real big reveal at the moment because this was quite a pain to get out of. But there is some definite beef going on in here. Not a lot in general on the board itself, but yeah, there's a lot of nice components in here. And then over here, you obviously have the board that controls that screen. You have your fan, and then your LED for switching. But yeah, it's quite nice, I will admit. It's a bit of a pain to get out of, but overall, quite nice. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video just as much as I did. This is an amplifier that I picked up, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. So if you did like the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, that way you're informed of our next video upload. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Mitch from BD Audio. We like to dyno amps down under. I'm tuning out. See ya!